welcome back to the Blissful Badger. In my recent video, I asked what people would like to see as my primary projects over the next 3 months. One of which ended up being Kill Team. And so, here I am with the first installment of my videos for Kill Team. And my plan going forward for the next 3 months. So I have quite a few different kill teams available to me, and I don't want to overwhelm myself here, so we're going to make it nice and simple for the projects. I have Imperial Navy Breachers already built and primed, and my goal for this next 3 months, especially in this video, is to get these painted up. So, being that this is the first of the videos for this quarter about Kill Team, I think I will work on painting up my Imperial Navy Breachers. When it comes to these models, they have a jacket and pants that I want to keep consistent, so I think the jacket I will do in the deep orange and give it a very vibrant color to go underneath the armor and everything like that. Since they all have some sort of jacket or upper arm, the upper torso area. Some are wearing it. Ooh, yep, that's dusty. That'll be one of the steps. Clean them off. It's been a while since they've been sitting there. But I will do the deep orange there. And then for their pants, I want to do deep sky blue. I think that combination is going to be quite striking, and I will need to figure out what other colors I'm going to do with them, but that's going to be the start. And the weapons should probably be something a little bit more muted. But we'll see. I mean, orange and blue as a color scheme is going to be pretty bright. And then I'll probably do a metallic boot. I don't know yet. Now, that is step one. I want to paint those and get those done. And I also want to do something cool for their basing. They are supposed to be in space, of course. But what other things do I want to do as far as the kill teams for this quarter? Well, I have these mandrakes, and I haven't actually started painting any of my Drukhari army, and I might try to have this as my first color scheme test. So that is a possibility. But to go with that possibility, I have more defined plans in that I want to build and paint the Octarius. I want to paint the Octarius Death Corps of Krieg models as if they were the Golden Age Deadpool. So I'm going to do a gory red main color with basalt gray for the blacks, saddle brown for the browns, and brassy brass as the golden details, because brass and gold are near enough. For the exaction squad, my goal is to paint them as judges from 2000 AD. I did the same with my Battletech lance, and I think that will be a very cool color scheme for futuristic judges. So, I am going to use green sky, deep red, royal purple, and brass as the main colors. I think that's going to look really nice. And they'll have, a very similar look to this, but modified for whatever the exaction squad's going to need. And I think that'll be a nice build-in paint this quarter as well. That means that I have plans to build 2 and paint 3 kill teams, with a potential for a 4th here, depending on if I can get to it. And even though I have reasonable plans for this, I also have Eldari Void Scarred, Vespid Stingwings, Kroot Farstalkers, Tyrannid Raveners, and many, many more that I could, in theory, work on if the time and effort is right. But again, this is today's goal. So, let's get to painting. Well, that was a productive 3-hour stream. Not only did I get the deep orange and the sky blue on these models, but I also decided on the trim and helmet colors using the Basilisk Red, and I believe I'm going to take the same color and do these little circular parts on the boots to tie in the color over the course of the whole model. I think I'm going to do the armor panels on the legs and chest and arms in the hammered copper. I will do the gunmetal as dark gunmetal and the blade. And if I have any other metal, I will do rough iron. These 3 metals should work quite well. And then all of the little hoses and belts and seals around the uniforms, I am going to do with the basalt gray. It's not quite black, it should look kind of a plasticky color. So that's my goal. So on to the next color. These guys are turning out pretty well so far. I'm getting some of the copper details done on these guys. They're starting to look really nice, and while I'm doing that, I'm also prioritizing building up some Arbites. Might as well have the next kill team built and primed by the time I get these ones done. It actually took me a lot longer than I expected to do the hammered copper and gunmetal on these guys. At one point, I realized the brush I was using for my metallics was not helping, and so I swapped over to a new brush. And that definitely actually made a big difference, and I got them done. So, next up, rough iron, and then I get to do the basalt gray. So, they're coming along, but I still have some work to do. Then I'll eventually need to figure out what I'm doing with their bases. Another stream down, and they're all painted up. Sadly, I need to touch up a few points because as I was doing the wash, I peeled off a little bit of the paint. So, like right there on the hose, and a couple of the little let's see if I can get that to focus. Huh. Anyway, there's a few little spots here and there that I need to touch up. And I need to make bases for them. So, I'm going to touch them up, and let's see how I'm going to make these bases. So, here we go. I was originally thinking about using some replacement screen instead of this plastic canvas, but I realized I didn't have a good way to cut the screen, and I wasn't sure if I really wanted to have sharp metal bits sticking out of my bases. So we're going to go with the plastic canvas instead. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the canvas slightly larger than the actual base, and then I'm going to use gel super glue to glue it on top. And then once it's fully cured, I'm going to use my hobby knife to trace around the base. As you can see, I'm going to reuse the bases that I took models off of a while back. A quick scrape will take care of all of the excess glue and paint. And since I'm putting something on top of this, you're not even going to be able to tell. There we go. So I'm just going to take some gel super glue, get that going. I want to make sure it sticks nice and good. And I'm going to just press it right in. And then, once that cures, I can cut around it and have it fit perfectly. Glue is kind of messy, so be careful. You don't want to stick it too much to yourself. So I let the bases dry for over an hour, and I made sure to leave something heavy on top of them. This way I made sure that they were nice and tight against the bases, and I put down some parchment paper so it wouldn't stick to the box. And now I have my bases ready to be cut out. And I don't mind that. It's stuck a little bit. Yeah. Now I can take them, turn them upside down, and trace along the base and now I have a grid on a base. Do this a couple more times, and then I can prime these. Alright, there we have it. Other than doing that little bit of touch-up that I need to do from when I did the wash, I now have the Imperial Navy Breachers painted and based. I tried to make sure that the shiny bit of the base was not always the same. I could have probably done 2 or 3 different colors instead of just one, but this was attempt number 1 of this type of base, so I'm sure I can do better next time. But I am happy to see another squad ready for the table. I really like how they came out color-wise. The orange definitely shows up on the table. And I'm just glad that I have another unit that I can call done. It feels good. Subscribe if you haven't so that you don't miss any future videos. I also want to thank my patrons and supporters for making these videos possible. And until next time, I hope you find your bit of bliss.